Riddle me this, my scallywags. My name is Edward Nigma.
And I'm Roman, the Black Mask. Wait.
Hold on.
Wait, that's not.
Wrong show. Be right back. Good morning, scallywags. I'm Spoo.
I'm Danny. Welcome to the show.
It's Monday, so welcome back. I hope you guys had a good weekend and got a chance to watch all of last week's episodes. We have had a few comments and things on there, and we want to give a shout out actually to our first confirmed subscriber and regular watcher of the show, to Johnny Whited. So thank you for watching the show. Yeah.
Thank you for coming by. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving a like and subscribe. As you know, it's Monday.
Yeah.
So that's what you missed.
Yeah, give you a few days to see what it is you missed over the weekend. So we got a few of your headlines of the unusual sort, some things that you might not have seen on the regular news, and of course that's what we do on Monday, is kind of give you an update of things you might have missed. Mm-hmm. What do you got for us, Danny?
First off, I've got a flag-thieving squirrel out of San Antonio, Texas.
Do tell.
During the Memorial Day weekend, an Air Force veteran in Texas was heartbroken to discover that all his flags he had placed were being stolen. I quote, "I stood right here and looked, and I actually picked one of them up," said Jennifer Northam. Northam said her father Memorial Day weekend put up a flag memorial in his yard, and soon it was nothing but sticks. Flags forcibly torn off.
Sad. That's truly sad and unpatriotic.
Unpatriotic.
What kind of monster would do such a thing?
I was heartbroken, she said. We just were confused because we didn't know. We were new to the neighborhood, and we didn't know if somebody done it or what had happened. But the savior of the story is Devon Rivera DeQuiu. Yeah, witnessed the whole thing. I saw her with the first flag, just freaked out, she said. The second and the third flag, and I started recording. Apparently there's a video out there of this incident, and the thieves are squirrels.
ISIS squirrels.
ISIS squirrels. Unpatriotic squirrels.
Is that what's happening? Do we have terrorist squirrels now?
It's a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy.
We're going to do an entire episode on conspiracies. We have a lot of conspiracies. Like, I'll save it for later. I don't want to.
Northam was said as quoted, "I was like relief came over both of us because we finally understood that it wasn't actually somebody; it was something that was stealing their flags." So there you have it. Squirrels on a rampage in San Antonio, Texas.
So were they just like building nests with flags?
Apparently they had used them to build nests, and the soft, cushy flag material was the best to insulate their house.
I mean, it could be worse. They could have been stealing like Confederate flags, and you'd have like a squirrel with like a little gun rack and some like a jackalop's head mounted on the wall or something.
Now that would be interesting.
I don't know
a jackalope's head rather than squirrel. Yeah, no,
something with antlers. But
antlers.
I don't see a squirrel like hauling a deer's head up a tree. So that
would be freakish and worthy of a horror movie.
Hey, tell you what, I got a story here. Let's move on. So this is coming from Huffington Post over in the UK. We debated on this one whether to put this on the headlines or to save it for Wednesday for the worst week Wednesday, because this is a little bit of both. There is something over in the UK called Dear Prudence. It's kind of like Dear Abby that used to be around over here, and a recent bride sent a letter or email or Twitter, I don't know, something like that, wrote in to Dear Prudence, explaining that her wedding day had been a long time coming.
Well, as most are.
Oh, yes. She says, "My husband and I started dating. We got pregnant. We had a child. Moved in together. Bought a house. Got a dog. In that order. Our friends and family have asked us for years why we weren't married yet. We always pushed it off to build better lives. We've done really well for ourselves and finally reached a point where we could afford a huge blowout wedding to celebrate our lives with everyone we know and love.
Huge.
Yes, something to the tune of like $40,000.
That's a lot of change.
Big wedding.
That's a big wedding.
Well, the husband, his best friend, we'll call him John, was the best man and the officiant of the wedding. She says the setting was beautiful. Everyone seemed happy. Our families were overjoyed. My mom said the phrase "Hallelujah" a few dozen times. The entire atmosphere felt moving. But then things kind of went awry.
Awry. Do tell.
Not only did John interrupt the ceremony, but he interrupted it he goes over to his girlfriend. We'll call her Jane, kind of making themselves the primary focus of the entire day. He interrupts the wedding to propose to Jane in the middle of a wedding. Oh, and not only that, also announced to the audience that Jane is pregnant.
Okay.
In the middle of his best friend's wedding.
So I don't know what level of. Yeah. I'm not going to use that word because we want to be peace. We want to be PG and family friendly. But there's certain levels up on the food chain of how bad of a person you can be, and that's kind of
the bride. She actually went on to say that she couldn't even hear the vows that her husband had wrote for her because Jane was sobbing because she's so happy. She's just been proposed. Oh yes, well of course I'll marry you, and let's just completely ignore this wedding.
Let's ignore somebody else's special day.
I mean, he's officiating this wedding, so that means that he literally, Danny, do you take this woman to be? You know what? Hold that thought for a second. Jane, the videographer, she says that the videographer actually had to, even had to cut to her frequently during the ceremony, and you can't hear anything on the video over all the chatter.
So there's...
and he goes on, not just in the wedding, but even in the reception, when John gave his toast, he actually apologized for being caught up in the moment, and then proceeded to talk about how he and Jane's future, about their future, never even mentioning the actual bride and groom during the toast.
Wow. Let's just ratchet it up just a little bit higher on that.
So
on that
with everyone coming up and congratulating them and things like that, John even had the band request. He requested a special song from the band so that he and Jane could dance to it, while the actual bride and groom are sitting off just watching this horror show play out in front of them. She said, I was so shocked and so angry I kept asking myself, is this real? Anyway, she goes on to ask Prudence, how they should go forward, because obviously the husband wants to send a $40,000 check it was an $80,000 wedding, because he wanted to send a $40,000 check to John for his half of the wedding. Scoochie, you have a question.
See, now John and Jane don't even have a need for a wedding because
right.
They
already stole one.
They stole a wedding. So
maybe they could just whenever they could set their wedding up and then actually have the original bride and groom come in and make it about that.
Revenge.
That would be
yeah.
That's what I would do.
Do it as a vow renewal for the original bride and groom.
Now Prudence did say that that even though the incident does merit a fight. But to kind of help everyone move forward, she said in between getting over it and never speaking to John again, finding a happy medium of having a difficult conversation with a longtime friend who did something selfish and self-absorbed on your wedding day. He is, after all, your husband's best friend, so your husband should tell John just how upset his behavior during the wedding has made him.
I don't know that I would continue being best friends with that man.
Right. So So yeah, there's that. So that we might just have to read that story again on Wednesday because they are definitely having a worse week.
We would call that a twofer.
That's a twofer.
That's a twofer.
Yeah. Double play.
What
chicken McNuggets?
Up next, I've got a story I want to call fast food fish. June 1st of this year, all the way down in Texas again. Another story out of Texas. A couple got a magnificent catch when they reeled in a record-setting bass off of a chicken McNugget. Now, I've heard of catching fish with all manner of bait, and in fact, I've done catfishing with gum, but I've never heard of using chicken McNuggets as a bait. Matthew McNeilis and his girlfriend went fishing in May at Lake Bardwell in Enos, and had no luck catching anything until the magic McNugget happened.
I have to just say how amused I am by the fact that his last name is McNellis.
With a McNugget.
Yeah. McNellis's McNugget.
That sounds bad.
Well, it does sound bad.
His girlfriend suggested using the magic McNugget they bought at McDonald's as bait. To their surprise, they reeled in a 2.5-foot long bass that weighed more than 10 pounds. Now, that's a big fish. I mean, you're talking a good-sized fish. The Highview Marina declared it the biggest fish caught at the lake, even posting a photo on Facebook. But they won't be turning that fish into fish fillet. They actually practice catch and release. So somewhere out there in that lake, you can go fishing with McNugget, maybe reel the same fish in.
Yeah. And so that really kind of raises the question of, next time you think about ordering yourself some McNuggets, just remember that fish enjoy McNuggets. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I avoid McDonald's at all costs personally.
I enjoy McNugget every now and then, but it might sway my viewpoint. What you got?
Well, in case you were to catch a bad McNugget and get sick and die, could we soon reverse death? There is a U.S. company that certainly thinks so, and they're going to be starting trials in Latin America here in a few months. BioCork, a Philadelphia-based company.
I thought you were going to say Umbrella Corp.
Oh,
I really was waiting for Umbrella Corp.
Yeah, absolutely. They announced in late 2016 that they believe that brain death is not irreversible. The first attempts to bring people back from the dead are slated to start this year. To be declared officially dead in majority of countries, you have to experience complete and irreversible loss of brain function or brain death. According to BioCork, they have developed a series of injections that can reboot the brain, and the inaugural stage of the trial will likely follow the plans laid out last year for a trial in India, a plan which was blocked by the Indian Council of Medical Research. So they shut this thing down. And they're adamant that they're going to be starting human trials later this year. They're not going to go the animal stage first.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah, on how to make a better horror movie.
How to make a better horror movie.
So you want zombies? This is how you get zombies.
It leads to some interesting ethical questions. I mean, what do the families think? If we end up actually being able to reverse death, is immortality too far away, or what?
Well, speaking of immortality and the afterlife and things, we talked about the Robocop last week. Well, this week we've got another robot. This one is a Robopriest over in Germany. His name is Bless You Too. He delivers blessings in 5 languages, and beams of lights from his hands comes out. He's been unveiled as part of an exhibition to mark the anniversary of the start of the Reformation. So, you can go over, there's a touch screen on his chest. He's got 2 arms and a head. So he's offered blessings now for a couple of weeks in your choice of German, English, French, Spanish, or Polish. And you can also choose between a male or female voice. The robot raises his arms, flashes his lights, recites a biblical verse, and says, "God bless and protect you." And if requested, it will also print out a copy of its words. And yes, in case it breaks down, they do have a backup in reserve. So look at this thing. This thing it's ridiculous.
It doesn't look any better than the RoboCop.
I don't know. I mean, at least the RoboCop was kind of cute. I mean, it was like Johnny Five meets
So when you get arrested,
Something
so when you
cute,
get
I
arrested
don't know.
in Saudi Arabia by the Robocop, and it's your last meal, you can have your last rites given to you by the German priest robot.
Yeah.
Why need humans anymore?
Right, and we're running a little long here today, so let's wrap it up. What do you got? You got it. This one's awesome. I love
The
it.
last one I've got is Grill Daddy. Some teens in Toronto, Canada, actually posted a want ad for a dad to be a grill aficionado at one of their bashes. Basically, it's the duties that the dad need to be able to do are grilling hamburgers and hot dogs. But you got to bring your own grill. Don't worry, that's negotiable. Plus, they're going to provide all the food. Refer to attendees as big guy, chief, sport, champ, and so on and so forth. But you got to be able to talk about lawnmowers and building your deck and Jimmy Buffett and golf.
Yeah, I know. I read this article, and you've left out one big thing. You have to be able to grill and call these names all whilst drinking.
While drinking beer. Yeah, you have to have an appreciation for a cold beer on a hot day. And with that, I think we're ready to wrap up our Monday episode.
I think so. Yeah, I think we've kind of covered it all. So yeah, you find some fun stories for us. We want to see what have we missed. Put those down in the comments below. If you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, it could be anything whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
We're open to kind of putting our views on just about anything you can come up with. We're starting to get a few. We have had a few comments that have been put out there, and we're going to be talking about some of that type of stuff this week. Some fun trends and things like that. So that's coming up a little later in the week. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the show, and as always,
here's your Russian clip of the day.
Ach, scheiße, fällt hier noch hin und wird von den Schafen überrannt. Scheiße.
das ist der Bock, ne?
Ja.
Na gut, davor.
Ach, scheiße.